Hello everybody, welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, bringing a brand new review. And today I'm going to be reviewing Trap, which is now out in cinemas in the UK. It came out in America last week, of course, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. And this is a film I've been really excited for. I've mentioned that there hasn't been too many exciting films this summer blockbuster season. I'm not calling this a blockbuster, by the way, either. But it's been very quiet summer, and it's understandable at times. Last year we had the writers and the actors strike, and that does delay a lot of work that does come down the line. We've had some juggernaut releases recently with Inside Out and Deadpool and Wolverine, but it hasn't been the padded out summer blockbuster season as normal. So with very few things to look forward to, I remember seeing a trailer for this maybe a month or two ago, and I didn't even know it was a new M. Night film. It was just this logic of, we're at like a concert stadium, we're at something. Is this like a teen drama thing? And then the trailer turns into here's the police. Trap's the title, obviously. You realize M. Night, and then, the marketing, I don't know why I was waffling there, but I was very excited to see this film yesterday. 2 days ago, at the time of this video going up. I'm going to give some thoughts, but I actually really want to hear from people at home, so please do comment your thoughts on Trap. Now, if you've seen it, try and keep it spoiler-free, in case there are people who haven't seen it yet, haven't got around to it. I'm really curious to know what they make of this. I think this film is quite divisive from what I've read online, from people I know that have seen it, from people who didn't. They're not looking forward to it, some are. It's a really interesting one, so do keep it spoiler-free, just because, granted, the trailer gave a lot away. There are a lot of other things that happen within this film that I'll be talking about at a separate date, not now with this being a spoiler-free review. But I'm going to talk about it. I mentioned my experience going in. I just quite literally seen Borderlands, as in my screening of Borderlands finished at 5:35 p.m. on Friday, and my screening of Trap started at 5:50 p.m. in a cinema 10 minutes away. Different Cineworlds, get in the car, whiz over, managed to get in there a couple of minutes before the film started. So I'd already had the lowest of the lows with the film I'd watched before. There is a Borderlands review summary. No, you don't need to watch the film in the cinema. But Trap was something I was like, okay, this is going to pick me up. I'm watching Spider-Man 2 later, one of my favourite films growing up. But this feels original. This feels like something different. I've seen one trailer. I like Josh Hartnett. I've not seen him in as many films as others, but I loved him in Oppenheimer last year. And whilst I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, the logic, and I guess you cannot hide from the current Eras tour, it feels like a baseline for this, that this film could have been set at a Taylor Swift concert, whether that was part of the pre-production, as in the idea came through this, I don't know, but it felt very on point for that. But I just loved the concept of, there's a serial killer in a concert venue, the police know they are in there, and we're going to follow the serial killer trying to evade them to get out. That premise is superb, and there's a lot of things you can do with it. There's a lot of things you can't do with it. But one thing I needed to do as a viewer, and I don't know if this film is played intentionally for laughs. If it is, then they did a great job of it. If not, I feel a bit guilty. I thought this film was very funny at times. And when I say funny, not howling out loud comedy, it felt very entertaining. It felt like it wasn't taking itself the most serious film ever made, whilst having a serious tone still. And that's where I kind of sit with it. My response to the film is based off how I experienced watching it. If I'd have gone in with a different attitude, you could strip this thing apart like, I wanted to spoil it for Deadpool and Wolverine, but if you really wanted to pick this film apart, you could. And you'd be going wall to wall to wall. I was something like, well, if they did this, this could happen. But I didn't care about that. That doesn't ruin this for me, because you could do it to any film. But I was just here for the vibe and along for the ride with Trap. And I've got to kind of say, it's really tricky to talk non-spoilers given that the trailer's given so much away. But if I talk the direction first, I thought this film did a very good job. I haven't seen as many M. Night films as others. I know people talk about the great ones at the start and then the terrible ones, and now he sort of found his footing again. I loved a lot of the ones I've seen. I saw Split, Unbreakable, Glass, Knock at the Cabin Door last year. I absolutely really enjoyed. So I'm kind of in with M. Night. I'm happy to watch his films. I should really get around to watching a lot more of them if I'm really honest. But I like the fact that he's making original films and he's still standing by doing so. And I'm always going to go and venture to a film. Even if this had got mauled with the critics, I'd have still liked to have gone to see this film because it is something different and I'm in on the premise. And by being in on the premise, that gives the film a little bit more leeway for me. It's not remaking something, it's not ripping something off, it's its own idea. And I think the film delivered with that. If someone can pinpoint something else, that's great, that's similar, but I don't feel like I've been in a film with this scenario. And following the serial killer, we know Josh Hartnett can't be trusted within this. His character, the butcher, playing the goofy dad with his daughter for the night, and he gives a wonderful performance. And he's so menacing whilst also being so sort of goofy with his daughter. It is the definition dad jokes. It is that attitude with her. It's his responding to his daughter's like petty childhood dramas. He's great in this. I have really loved his performance, and even going through start right through to the end. And I will say I do have some criticisms of the film I'll talk about in a bit, but he is absolutely perfect for it. He's got such a physical presence that when he is sort of hulking over someone, when he's standing up straight, when he's in his sort of psychotic mode, he's quite terrifying. But then you see him as a dorky dad in his overgrown jacket with his daughter, trying to have a good time. He does a really good job of blending both of those, and I absolutely love him for it. And the film doesn't work without him. It's as simple as that. You had to nail the lead casting, and they absolutely did. So credit to that. An issue I do have with the film is maybe, I don't want to say the runtime, maybe not even the third act. Because the trailer obviously focused on the concert thing, you would be inclined to think that the film ends maybe there. And really, I guess it's credit to marketing. The concert's maybe the first 2/3 of the film, and I don't mean that to be a spoiler, but there are moments in the final third where I feel like the film could have finished 3 or 4 separate times. And maybe it's because I was watching Spider-Man 2 like straight after. I was getting a bit, oh, we're at the ending now. Okay, no, we're not. Let's go again. Oh, we're at the ending now. No, we're not. Let's go again. And it felt like it did that 3 or 4 times. And, you know, for those that have seen it, you know where the definitive ending is. I quite like that. Again, it's illogical, and I don't care that it's illogical. The whole film wouldn't work if it wanted to be logical. You have to let that go in your head to be entertained by this. That's not criticism calling the film stupid either. It's incredibly entertaining. And it's interesting as well. How's he going to get out of this situation? How's he going to get out of this situation? It does it so many times. And for the first 2/3 of the film, you're kind of with him, right? You're kind of like, yeah, like he's a terrible guy. I can't wait to see how he gets caught or if he gets caught. But I want to see how he's going to get out of all these situations that keep changing within itself. And by the time you get to the end of the film, you're kind of like, okay, this guy's got to go now. Like we need to catch him. And it's credit to the writing of how this is done. I want to also give massive credit to M. Night's daughter, who is, I know in the trailers she is the singer. I know she's a singer in real life, but looking at some of the background research I've done, she was heavily involved in the production. The music she made was done in sync for the film, and it was almost a combined concert and film idea at the same time. And then she does get the chance to act later in the film. Now, whether that goes down well with people, I don't know. I'm not going to sort of look at that performance too much because the core of her in this is the singing side of things, and it does make for a good backdrop for the main story within the film. And certainly by the end, there are some incredibly tense moments. And we know M. Night's always been good at doing that, putting characters in these sorts of situations. And I thought she was fine in the film, but she does feel like the support, the second in the lead. Other characters I'm going to keep nameless because I don't know if they were ever marketed or people know about them. But with an M. Night film, there are twists to be had. And this film sort of does it. I know the trailer's really the main one, that we're following the butcher, the villain. So I don't really think it's a problem. It establishes that in the first 10 minutes before things really kick off. But there are obviously other things that happen as the film progresses, and I very much enjoyed that. It's very goofy at times, and I think it's got a lot of heart within that. It's not trying to be smart, so it ends up being funny because it's not smart. I think the film knows what it is, and I was entertained by that. I'd see a film like this again. Would I see this film again? I actually do not know. Certainly not at the cinema. Maybe in a couple of years if we were doing a series on M. Night. But it's certainly a really interesting film that fits within his filmography. And I do think at this point with cinemas, if people are struggling with new releases, they don't think there's much out, I would really recommend to go and see this film. It might not work for you. It might really work for you. You might have fun, you might not. I think this is a film that's just going to be different for every person that views it. Me, myself, I enjoyed it. I had a blast with it. As I mentioned, I do feel it could have finished a little bit earlier. That's not a runtime problem. That's more of an actual story problem. But from a performance and direction standpoint, I thought this was great. I'd love to see Josh Hartnett be in more films. As I said, I mentioned Oppenheimer. I should really dig out some of his from the early noughties, because I know a lot of people spoke about them last year. But that is going to do it for my thoughts on Trap. I do want to hear from you, as I mentioned. Please do try and keep it spoiler free. And I guess the less you know about this one heading in, the better it is. That's certainly how it felt like for me. And if you want to find out about other videos, what else we're working on, you can get us on our social medias, linktree.com. That'll put you through to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd pages. We're using Instagram a lot more now with clips of shows and the YouTube Shorts. So do have a look at them if you're curious about other videos and reviews we do. But that's it for today. There is going to be more reviews. There's going to be more videos. We'll put them on our social medias when we do. I know we've had a lot of TV recently. We really need to get back on track for some film stuff. It's great to have some new releases. I know Alien Romulus is out later this week. I am very, very much looking forward to that. And in the Trap screening I was in, someone gagged at the Alien trailer, which I thought was hilarious. I can't wait to see that next week. The IMAX looks superb. So there'll be reviews up for Alien Romulus and many other things as the months go by. So thank you all for watching. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.